Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to fix slow downloads in Google Chrome, so slow Chrome download speed. And so I will go over quite a lot of solutions, so stick around to the end to see if yours is in there. But first guys, if you want, you can go down on this video in the comment section and click on the first comment that I pinned. This will bring you to my Fiverr, and here you can get a YouTube logo and banner or a modern minimalist YouTube logo and banner for your YouTube channel. But now back to the video. Now first, of course it goes without saying, make sure there aren't too many applications or games running, of course down here, but also in the system tray. So any applications running in the background. Now then another one which is actually pretty obvious, but you have to keep in mind as well that there are not too many tabs up here, as you can see, because it will actually drastically slow down your Google Chrome, your CPU as well, but also of course the downloading speed of whatever you are downloading. So make sure you have the least amount of tabs open. Now I can go to this puzzle piece, so it will be extensions. And I do manage extensions, or I can also do the three dots here, go down to extensions, and so same here, manage extensions, and basically you will see the ones that you have within Google Chrome. Now some of these might be laggy, and some might actually be some older malfunctioning bad Chrome extensions. They also exist. So if you're not using any here, what you can do is temporarily disable them, so you can actually enable them, and if you click this, you can disable them. Then make sure that in a new tab you just refresh the page, so you reload it. Keep that in mind. But of course another option is going to be to remove the Chrome extension in question. Once again, this can be for reasons like it might be a bit laggy, it's malfunctioning, you simply just never use that extension in question. Don't hesitate to actually remove some, so keep that in mind. Okay, so then something else. Up here I'm going to type Chrome and then two dots, / flags, just like the word flags. You can click enter. And up here we're going to type parallel. There we go, there we have it already, parallel downloading. Now it is probably set to default if you click this little arrow. What you can also do is click enabled, which I advise you to do because it's basically going to download it in fragments, which could make the process faster. Once you've selected enabled or disabled, depending on what you're choosing, always make sure that down here you click on relaunch. There we go. So now it is also saved and set to that parallel downloading option. Just keep that one in mind. That one is actually pretty important. Then I'm going to once again make my way up to the three dots. This time I'm going all the way down to settings, then privacy and security, and delete browsing data. Then you have multiple options. So you can do for the last 15 minutes, last hour, 24 hours, and last 7 days. And you can also go to more and click all time. That depends. But what I do advise you to do is first of all, select like browsing history, cookies and other site data. You can definitely click as well. Check that one as well, but it will actually sign you out of quite a lot of websites. So that's something you have to want. But of course, to clean up some Google cookies and other site data, as it says right here, it is definitely advised to click that one as well and just to clean this up from time to time. Cache the image and files, you can also do that. Download history. Some autofill form data, that's also when you actually fill in something automatically in the website. And then same here, the site settings and the hosted app data. Now that is up to you, but I'll definitely consider these four the most important ones. And basically whenever you have selected that, we can go ahead and just click on delete data and remove that. There we go. Now once we're done with that, go down to security and scroll down to use secure DNS. Make sure it's enabled first of all, so it looks like this. This is disabled, this is enabled. But then we can also select the DNS provider, and here you want to select this to give you a drop down. Now you can alternate between these, but in most cases you do want to go for the Cloudflare 1111. Make sure you click that, and so now it will be saved. So once again, that is definitely the one that I would advise you to select most. Now I'm going to simply go ahead up to the search and type continue running. There you have it, continue running background apps when Google Chrome is closed. I advise you to have it off, so as you can see, so if yours is on like this, just make sure that you click it and that you disable it so that it is off. That is actually advised. There's scenarios where you can also try when it's already off to put this on to see if that does something, but in most cases I do advise you to probably just leave this off. Now then simply going underneath that one, you have use graphics acceleration when available. Now this one in a lot of cases you can actually turn on. Once again, also have the option to disable it. You have to relaunch it though, but leave this on most of the time, I would say, because this allows Chrome to use more of your GPU if that's something you want. And that could also does help of course with the downloads and making the whole performance a bit better. And then if you have to, so on the left side you can go down to reset settings. You have the option to restore settings to their original default, and as you can see it says reset settings. So this action will reset your Chrome settings and shortcuts, disable extensions and delete cookies and other temporary sites. So it's not like deleting the browsing data as we saw earlier, it removes a bit more, but the bookmarks, history and saved passwords won't be affected. So this is optional. You can reset those settings to make sure that you know what you're disabling and know what you're deleting in this case, of course, as this is a reset, but it can help a lot if you have some useless files that are slowing down your Chrome lingering around. Then if we go a little lower here on the left side, we have About Chrome. And now here, if there is a new Google Chrome update available, it will tell you, as you see right here, nearly up to date, relaunch Chrome to finish updating. So I actually have a new version, a new update available. What I simply can do then is relaunch. As you can see, this tab will show up and my Chrome has been updated. So that is also something you have to keep in mind. Do make sure that it looks like this and that Chrome is up to date. Don't forget about that. That's actually a pretty important step. So that's also a little detail, of course, that can be important. Now, if I close this, likewise, of course, also make sure if I go down to search, type check for updates, select this. That, of course, your Windows itself is also up to date. So all you have to do is click here and do check for updates. Now, this generally won't take very long. Sometimes you'll have some updates, sometimes you won't. There you go, as you can see, something was required to have a little update. Also make sure that get the latest updates as soon as they're available. If you want that, make sure that that is checked on here. And also sometimes you don't have to click once, but you have to click multiple times in order for a new update to appear. That has happened to me in the past. I selected it once or twice and it said that it was up to date, but then when I clicked like another couple of times, it actually showed me a new update that was actually quite necessary that Windows didn't propose in the past. So make sure that sometimes, just to be sure, click multiple times on check for updates to really see if there's nothing to update. I'm gonna close this. Now then also make sure that the drivers are up to date. Now drivers is the software of the hardware in your PC. So your motherboard, your graphics card, that is the hardware in your PC and they all have software. So they all have a driver that needs to be kept up to date. Otherwise they're gonna malfunction in some way or become laggy. Now there's actually different ways to do that. And one of them being, for example, using a software like Armoury. Now there are of course multiple softwares out there. And this one is go down to settings and do update center and click on check for updates. Now as you can see, mine are all up to date. In case there was one that had to be updated, it just say it right here. So that's of all of the components in your PC and it is important to keep that up to date. Now you don't necessarily have to use Armoury for that. There's also other softwares out there if you want to. But there's also simply the way to do that in Windows itself. For that you go to search, device manager, click on it. Now we can go, for example, to display adapters. Now here, first of all, I have my AMD Radeon, which is going to be my processor, so CPU. And then second of all, I will have my NVIDIA GeForce, which is going to be my graphics card, of course. And that is going to be GPU. Now it is important that these two are up to date. So if you right click on this, do update driver and do search automatically for drivers. Now it is going to go pretty quick. And as you can see, the best drivers for your device are already installed. So we can close this. I'm going to do, of course, the same for my graphics card. Right click, update driver, search automatically for drivers. And as you can see, there's also the best driver for my GPU that I currently have. So that's another way on how to update drivers in Windows. Same if you're done here, you can just close this. I'm going down back to search. All you have to do is type cmd to the command prompt. I'm going to right click and run this as administrator, very important. So click run as administrator. Here when it asks permission, you say yes. As you can see, we have the command prompt. Now it's important you type the following. So type ipconfig /flush DNS. And this will actually clean up the connection between the website, servers, and your computer itself. So click enter. And it went actually pretty quickly, simple as that. So it successfully flushed the DNS, but it is an important step. Now some other important factors you have to keep in mind. Sometimes your antivirus might interfere with your downloads. Of course, because it might not trust the source, the file itself. So in that case, make sure that if you have any antiviruses, now most of the time if you go down to your system tray, and so here your antivirus could be running into the background. In that case, go ahead to that antivirus and right click and disable it. But it would be better to go within the application of the antivirus itself and just disable it there. Make sure that your download is safe, that you know it doesn't contain a virus and that it is a file that is safe to download, like an image or some music. Nothing from like a third-party website that you don't really trust, because that can be, of course, dangerous, and I don't want you to disable that antivirus in that case. But just know that in general, it could be that your antivirus interferes with your downloads. And of course, afterwards, when you're done that, just enable it again. Then you can also try to use an Ethernet cable if you have one. You can of course also buy one. So put this into the router or immediately into a socket in the wall. And this will actually make a more direct connection, because of course it's a cable and it will directly go from your PC into, once again, your router or a socket in the wall if you have like a more modern way to do so. Then talking about the router, and I can also advise you to unplug your router, but for around like 30 to 60 seconds, and then you plug it in again. Or you simply keep it plugged in, but you reset it so that it has time to start up again. Now you can also move your router to a different place. So for example, closer to a window. That could help if you have, for example, very thick walls and that the connection has a harder time to get through the walls. Placing it a bit higher up, closer to a window, might actually help. Same is you could use a hotspot, so on your phone, and use like 4 or 5G. That can be faster. Of course, be aware of your data usage in that case, and how much a month you have with data usage and how much the download is going to take of that data. In case you're using a hotspot, say move that to a different place in cases, sometimes once again close to a window, a bit higher up in your room, not next to like very thick walls, because it will once again have a hard time getting this signal through and thus having a weaker connection. So definitely important things to keep in mind. Lastly, in case, you can always go ahead to your connection and turn it off. As you can see, I just removed it. No matter if you have Wi-Fi or a hotspot, turn it off in case. Then wait a couple of seconds and you can turn it on again, so that you will be once again connected. Sometimes that helps. You can also go ahead and restart your computer. That is also something you could do. So once again, it sounds simple, but really try them out. Might help in times. So anyway, I did want to mention also some more specific, smaller problems in the end here, but they can be in a small corner as well. So of course, keep that in mind. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, would be really nice. Subscribe would also be really nice. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.